Come to standing. Separate your toes. Roll your shoulders. Extend through the crown of your head. Your knees are just slightly bent so your thighs are gently engaged. Tuck the bowl of your pelvis slightly under. Well, what you're doing is releasing the natural tendency for the lower back to squeeze and for the hips to roll forward. The belly comes forward. The weight of the hips comes forward. Tuck under just slightly. Now bring your weight back so that you're balanced over your heels and over your feet or over your toes. You'll find relief in the lower back when you do that. Your shoulders can naturally then migrate back to sit over your hips. You tend to do a lot of belly forward stuff. Bring that back to the nice natural curves that your back enjoys. That get lost with age, with posture, and dare I say with laziness, but that's being, what's the word? Anyway, that's not a word used in yoga anyway. It's a very non-yoga, judgmental word. Yoga is non-judgmental, so we're not going to say laziness again. Stretch the crown of your head up towards the ceiling. Then inhale, sweep your arms to the side, reach up. Lean back gently, interlace all your fingers except for your index fingers and stretch your arms up. Look up if you can, if it's comfortable for your neck. Reach up with your ribs as well. Then exhale, swan dive forward. So folding at the hips, your back remains flat, you lean forward. Your hands land on your shins. Extend again between crown of head and tailbone. Let your hands slide down your shins until you feel a stretch. Your legs are straight but not locked. Want to warm up or gently get the hamstrings used to the idea of stretching. Release your head so it can hang. Keep extending the tailbone. We're going to go right into chair pose. Keep your fingertips on the ground. Bend your knees. Inhale, bring your hands together. See if you can do that sort of a yoga pistol grip again and stretch the arms up. Open up the shoulders by pulling the arms past the ears or up to the ears. Inhale, stand up tall again. Exhale, swan dive, hands to your shins, slowly slide down to a full stretch. Bend your knees, fingertips on the floor, look forward. Lift your torso again, stretch the arms, pull them back, shoulders going down your back and around to the side, arms trying to come up next to the ears. Like your tailbone slightly under again. Lift your toes, sit back on your heels. Inhale, push up. Swan dive, we're coming into chair number 3. We'll only do 3, don't worry. Slide down again, relax your head. Bend your knees, fingers on the floor, reach up. Stretch. Inhale up and just drop the arms with an exhale. Roll the shoulders. Release the tension, walk the knees. Triangle pose. Everybody knows triangle pose. I don't need to say anything. I'm starting on my left side. Walk yourself through it on your own, remembering all the steps. And I'll let you know when I come out. And releasing. Hands together, step to the front. And let's do the other side. Again, totally on your own, so that you don't have to focus on my chatter, but you can focus on what your body is saying and how you need to move and adjust. And release. Come up, step to the front. We'll do the same with extended triangle. Here I'm just going to remind you, please take a very long step to the back. You want to get a stretch in your hips before you even come into the full form of the pose. And also watch out, I have to say this, to watch out for your front knee that it doesn't track in or out. Your foot and your thigh point in the same direction. Release, look down, step back to the front. Shake it out if you need to, and then do the other side. For me, it's the right side, and my right foot that's staying forward. Again, watch out for your knee, and come to a nice wide stance. And release. Step back to the front. We'll keep that sort of stretch front and back by doing warrior poses, warriors 1 and 2, flowing from 1 to 2. So step back with the right foot. Remember the hips are square with the front of the mat. Your feet are hip width apart. Bend the front knee. The right foot comes out at an angle. Keep the right leg completely straight. Keep separating, turning your hips, separate your feet, turn your hips, separate your feet until you get to a point where your hips are going to be too angled in order to stay in this nice slow pose. And Interlace the fingers, except for the index. Reach up. Try to turn your hips back to the front of the room. Try to straighten the back leg. Roll the foot so that the arch is still visible on the edge of your right foot. Left knee is bent, but parallel with the floor at the most. Keep reaching up with the arms. Let's drop to warrior two. You open out to the side. Feel the relief in your hips as you open. Sink down lower, separating your feet. Make sure that left knee doesn't track in. Tuck your tailbone under again. Bring your bowl of the pelvis so that it can hold everything that's resting in it. Nothing is spilling forward. Drop your hands to your hips, turn to the front, step forward with the right. Warrior one on the right side. I like to start palms together, just to give them something to do. I come into the pose with my legs, square everything off, and then reach the arms up. Extend, stretch. Think always of the instep of that back foot. Keep it open. Roll the left hip around. Square the hips with the front of the mat. There's lots of conflicting movements. That's where this is different than just simple stretching. It's these conflicting movements that strengthen because they stress all the supporting ligaments and muscles. Exercise that we don't normally get from any other form of exercise. Let's drop the arms, come to warrior two, extend through the fingertips, separate the feet, crawling the right toes away from you, open up the hips, that right knee drift back, tuck the tailbone under, relax the shoulders. Lots of things to think about. Try to keep cycling through them through your mind. A really good yoga pose is not one that's held solid. It's one that's constantly shifting and adjusting, opening and closing, settling down. Until everything feels right. And then release. Drop the hands, turn to the front, step forward, shake it out. So those are some fairly long standing pose holds. So we'll do something a little bit easier. We'll do a nice balance pose. Tree is one we all know. You pick your own form and come into it. And if you'd like to, you can again stretch the arms up, extend, pull the shoulder blades down. Try not to stick your head through your arms, but bring your arms back to your head, tuck your tailbone under. Pull that bent knee off to the side. You straighten the supporting leg and make it nice and solid. Release. Switch sides. Feel the whole floor support your foot. Don't forget, if arms overhead doesn't work, you've got cactus arms, you've got waving tree, you've got all sorts of variations. Hands just in front of your chest works just as well. This is the beauty of yoga. Here we're practicing our balance. We're getting a hip stretch. We're getting a shoulder stretch. We're getting a forearm stretch plus a slight back bend. And we're thinking about our pelvis and making sure that it's aligned with our spine. So much to work on. And release. Let's shake it out. And then you can join me in doing upward dog, downward dog before we come to seated on the floor. Or just feel free to sit down right on the floor, stretch your arms, stretch your legs out in front of you. Exhale, fold. Inhale, halfway up. Exhale, high plank to low plank. Inhale, up dog. Exhale, down dog. And then kneel on the ground. Cross your ankles, roll over them, and come to seated. Since those are fairly strenuous poses, we'll do something relatively non-strenuous. Bring the soles of your feet together. Lean forward, hold on to them. Wiggle your hips until you get past any sticking points. And then stretch your chin out, trying to plant it on your toes at the same time as your belly lands on the floor. If you get there, write me and let me know. My belly does not make it to the floor here. I can round my back and stick my chin on my feet. But today we're doing this with a relatively flat back. Keep extending through the crown of the head to get yourself lower down. Start feeling more stretch on the outside of the hips the lower you come. Another 15 seconds here. Inhale, push yourself up. Sit back. Spread your feet, put them to the edge of your mat, and then roll back and forth in windshield wipers. We're doing this as a stress release, not so much as a stretch. So just go down, come back up, sort of flop side to side. It's nice rub for your butt muscles too, to be totally honest. And release. Let's do a very simple twist. We're going to sit, cross our legs with the left shin on top. Right hand on left knee, left fingers in behind. Stretch up and turn. Slowly release. Gentle counter twist. Shift it so your left shin is now in front. Left hand on right knee, right hand in behind, and turn to the side. Slowly release. Give yourself a gentle counter twist. And then come to lying on your stomach. Do Sphinx or Cobra, whichever one you like. I'm going to be doing Cobra. So my hands are underneath my shoulders. I glue my toes and my hips to the floor and the part of my belly beneath my belly button. And then I roll my shoulders open and back, pulling my elbows down towards my feet, engage back, lift myself, and then look forward. Release. Come down onto your belly. Put your chin on your hands, roll your hips side to side. Now we're going to stretch our whole front and our shoulders at the same time. You can do this one-sided or two-sided. Why don't we just do it one-sided? Sure, let's all do it one-sided. Reach around, grab your right ankle. Extend your left arm and your left leg, and then lift yourself up by pushing your ankle up into the ceiling. Release. Extend both arms, both legs. Relax your lower back. Reach back, grab the left foot, and then push the left foot up into the air. And release. Extend both arms and legs. Engaging your core, push your way to table. Slide back to child's pose. Keep your knees together if you can. Breathe deep into your belly to stretch your lower back. Inhaling, come up. Cross your ankles. Come to seated, and we're going to do a quick pranayama or breath exercise. So we want to cool down and calm down. Index and forward index and middle finger come together, rest in the middle of the forehead. The other two fingers close off the left nostril as you inhale, and you know the routine by now. The nostril that you exhale with is the one that you inhale with. Starting on the right side with an inhale, however. Inhale. Close it off. Exhale, opening the left nostril. And keep going back and forth. Aim for very deep inhaling, filling your entire lungs. One more cycle, left and right. Ending on an exhale. Then roll down into corpse pose. Clock, so I can see it. Spread your ankles, bring your hands a good distance away from your hips so your shoulders open and can rest on the floor. Wiggle as much as you need to in order to settle down, and then close your eyes and focus on your breath. So bring some feeling back to your fingers and toes. Go through your wrists and your ankles. Inhale, stretch overhead. Let your hands fall onto the ground behind you. Open your armpits, breathe into them. And then pull in one knee, then the other one. Squeeze them in, roll on your back. Roll over to your right hand side. Stay here 30 seconds. Push with your hands to come up to seated. Let your knees fall open. You can figure out which way is normal for you anymore, like which way you normally cross your ankles and switch to the other way. If both seem equally comfortable now, then just stop wherever you are and don't worry about it. Inhale, stretch the crown of the head up to the ceiling. Take out all the natural curves of the back and the back of the neck, totally straight. And then release, settle down into the natural bends, not the exaggerated bends of everyday life, but the ones that were there when you were young. Inhale, bring your hands together. Namaste. Thank you very much for joining me. Is it humid outside? Is it hot? Not much of a breeze as far as I can see. So I guess I'm glad to be in again today, but I think this afternoon, if there's time, I'm going to record tomorrow's today so I can be a day ahead. I do like to do it outside with the birds and the other noises. It's quite nice. Good. Have a nice afternoon.